Ladies and gentlemen, lovers and explorers tonight, let's talk about something that's been whispered about behind closed doors, moaned through soft sheets, and fantasized about in the quiet corners of our minds, doggy style. Now, we're not here to talk mechanics, we're here to reveal secrets, the kind that elevate this classic position from simply primal to breathtakingly intimate, because yes, doggy style can be deeply romantic. Sensual, a connection of power and surrender all at once. When you let go, when you trust, when you arch your back and offer yourself fully. It's not just about the position. It's a message. It says, I trust you. I crave you. I want you so much I'll let you see every angle of me. Raw, real, powerful. There was this moment, her knees on the bed, palms pressed into the sheets, back curved just enough. He slid in slowly, his hands firm on her hips, then soft on her lower back. He leaned over, breath warm against her ear, and whispered just like that. The rhythm began like a slow dance, bodies swaying, hearts racing. Not a word was needed after that. Her body answered every stroke. It wasn't just sex, it was worship. A slight shift of the hips, a soft pillow under the belly, or even bent knees can change the depth, the pressure, the rhythm. Think of doggy style as a dance. One partner leads, the other follows, and then they switch. Play with angles, discover pleasure like a new language, don't just moan, speak, whisper, growl, say what you want, say what you love. Doggy style isn't silent, it's primal poetry, and nothing's more erotic than the sound of desire spoken aloud. He walked up behind her in the kitchen, sunrise streaming through the window. She wore nothing but a silk robe, slightly open. He pressed himself to her, kissed the back of her neck, and she melted into the counter. No words, he lifted the robe gently, ran his hand up her thigh, and entered her as the eggs sizzled on the stove. It was slow, intense, hungry. She looked back at him, and that one look, half gasp, half smile, burned hotter than anything on that stove. Yes, one partner is behind, but it's not domination. It's choreography. One gives, one receives. One slows the rhythm, the other presses back. It's a loop of energy that never breaks. When done with love, it's mutual magic. Who says doggy style can't be intimate? Reach back, grab a hand, pull close, steal a glance in the mirror, let them see your face, let them feel how much you're feeling. This is not a sprint. Take your time. Explore every thrust like it's a promise. Let hips grind, let breath sink, build heat slowly. Doggy style doesn't have to be fast and furious. It can be slow and sacred. Use your hands, glide them up a spine, across shoulders, down thighs. Grip hips, caress the small of the back. Doggy style invites full body worship, not just penetration. Let your fingers become lovers too. On a rainy afternoon they stayed in. She crawled onto the couch, teasing him with a look over her shoulder. He followed, they kissed until the teasing turned to need. She offered herself without a word. Knees on the cushions, hands gripping the top of the couch. He knelt behind her, guiding himself in, matching the rhythm of the falling rain. Slow, wet, hypnotic, her moans blended with thunder and time ceased to exist. Once the bodies stop moving, don't just roll over. Kiss, cuddle, wrap arms around waists, hold each other tight, because even the wildest positions deserve the softest landings. So yes, doggy style is sexy, but when done with intention, with love, with passion and presence, it's so much more than sexy. It's a love letter in movement, a surrender wrapped in power. A secret now beautifully revealed. Doggy style is often seen as raw, primal, and instinctual, a position that emphasizes physical pleasure and deep penetration. But what truly transforms it from simply a carnal act into something unforgettable, even intimate, is trust. Trust changes everything. It's what allows one partner to surrender, and the other to honor that surrender with presence, care, and power. Without it, doggy style can feel distant, mechanical, and disconnected. With it, it becomes charged with emotion, vulnerability, and deep eroticism. There is a unique psychological shift that happens when one partner turns around and offers their back. That shift is a silent agreement. I trust you to touch me when I can't see your eyes. I trust you to enter me from behind and still feel connected to my heart. This kind of trust is layered. It's physical, yes, but it's also emotional. It says, I know you won't hurt me. I know you're here with me. I know you see me even when I can't see you. That's the deeper side of doggy style most people overlook. In that position, one partner is exposed. The arch of the back, the curve of the hips, the softness of the neck. They are fully visible, every line, every breath, every tremble. To be in that space is to allow yourself to be seen without needing to perform. And for the partner behind, that visibility is not about power. It's about reverence. It's the act of seeing someone in their most vulnerable pose and choosing to approach with presence and care instead of dominance and detachment. Trust also opens the door to letting go. The receiving partner has to release control, both mentally and physically. Their body becomes a canvas, their breath a rhythm, their hips an invitation. That kind of release only happens when the environment feels safe. When the partner behind isn't rushing, isn't detached, but is fully tuned in. When the hand that grips the hip is steady, when the pace respects both bodies, when the breath sinks instead of overwhelms, then surrender becomes sacred. That's the difference between sex that just feels good and sex that changes something inside you. Doggy style, when rooted in trust, becomes an emotional experience. The connection can be electric even without eye contact. It comes through in the hands, in the breath against the skin, in the pressure of thighs touching. The partner behind has the power to make every movement feel like a question. Do you like this? Do you feel me? Do you want more? And trust allows those questions to be answered honestly, not just in words, but in the way the body responds, the way the hips move back to meet the rhythm. There's also the trust of being desired. In that position, you are not hidden. You're offered up, fully visible, open, and real. For some, that's intimidating. For others, it's liberating. But either way, it requires a moment of confidence that can only exist when you know the person behind you doesn't just want your body. They want you. They want your pleasure, your experience, your surrender. They want the sound of your voice as you breathe out their name. And to feel that, that's not just sexy. It's soul-shaking. Even small things are guided by trust. A hand resting on the lower back, a kiss on the shoulder in between movements, a pause to check in. When there's trust, those small gestures become thunder. They say, I'm here, I'm with you, I'm not going anywhere. It creates a loop of connection, even in a position that might seem more distant. Because with trust, closeness doesn't require eye contact. It requires intention. When someone gives their back to you, they're offering a side of themselves that is often associated with submission. But that submission is a gift, not a weakness. It's a form of emotional bravery, and it is only possible when they feel completely safe in your hands. Trust creates that safety. It lets both people let go. It creates the kind of space where animalistic desire and romantic connection don't compete. They blend, and in that blend, something rare happens. Something unforgettable, something that lingers in the skin long after the bodies are still. In the world of physical connection, especially in positions like doggy style, the angle and rhythm aren't just details, they're everything. These two elements, when handled with care, have the power to turn a familiar act into an entirely new experience each time. They are the difference between something that feels routine and something that feels entirely personal, deeply pleasurable, and emotionally charged. The beauty of doggy style lies in how versatile it is, how adjustable it can be to suit different moods, energy levels, and emotional needs, and it all comes down to how you move and how you align. Every body is unique. What feels incredible for one person might not feel the same for another. So, learning to play with angle is not about textbook positions. It's about responsiveness, curiosity, and tuning in. A slight tilt of the hips can make penetration deeper or shallower. Elevating the knees, placing a pillow beneath the stomach, or arching the back more or less can dramatically shift the sensations. It can change which parts of the body are being touched internally, where the pressure lands, and how each movement is received. Exploring those angles isn't just about technique, it's about learning your partner's body and showing them that their pleasure is worth exploring slowly, deliberately, and playfully. Rhythm, too, is its own language. There's a natural tendency to associate doggy style with fast, hard thrusts, and yes, that pace has its place, but rhythm is more than just speed, it's about intention. A slow, deep rhythm creates longing. It builds pressure inside the body like a slow burning fire. It allows for more sensation, more presence, and more connection. Faster rhythms, when done with sensitivity and awareness, create a wild urgency, a rush of passion and loss of control. Both speeds are powerful, but what really matters is how they are chosen, not out of habit, but in response to each breath, each sound, each movement from the person receiving. There's an emotional component to this, too. The way angle and rhythm are explored can communicate a lot. When a partner takes the time to adjust, to ask, to notice how their lover's body responds to a certain depth or tempo, it sends a message: you matter. Your pleasure matters. You're not just a body beneath me. You are a living, feeling, sensitive being, and I want to feel you fully. That level of attentiveness turns physical touch into emotional dialogue. One of the most beautiful things about doggy style is that it doesn't have to be one fixed pose. It's a dynamic experience. Partners can shift positions slightly mid-act to adjust how their bodies fit together. The person behind can stand, kneel, or even lean in closer, creating new angles. The person receiving can spread their knees wider, rest their chest on the bed, or lift their hips to invite more depth. None of these adjustments break the moment. In fact, they often make it hotter, more connected, more tailored to exactly what both bodies crave in that moment. The rhythm becomes a dance, an unspoken choreography. One person pushes forward, the other pushes back. One slows, the other holds still. It's not about who leads, it's about moving together, not just to reach climax, but to enjoy the journey. There's something incredibly erotic about finding a rhythm together, where the pace is not just physical, but emotional. It builds tension, teases release, holds it back, and then lets it explode. Angle and rhythm also have the power to unlock hidden parts of your partner's body and mind. A small change in direction can suddenly stimulate a spot inside them that sends shivers through their whole frame. A change in rhythm can wake up nerves that were quiet seconds before. And when a partner discovers these secrets through exploration, through listening to the sounds, the breathing, the subtle movements, it becomes a kind of erotic discovery, a shared secret born not from words, but from feeling. When you explore angle and rhythm with sensitivity, doggy style becomes something deeply personal. It evolves from being a generic position into a custom experience designed around connection and care. It's not just about where your bodies fit, it's about how they speak to each other, through depth, through motion, through the art of taking your time and the thrill of losing it. Voice and communication are some of the most powerful tools in sex, and in doggy style, where eye contact is less frequent and body language carries so much weight, the voice becomes even more essential. It fills the space between thrusts, it deepens connection, and it gives both partners permission to be fully present in their desires. Speaking during sex isn't just about dirty talk, it's about expression, vulnerability, direction, and shared experience. When voice and communication are used with intention, they elevate every movement, every sound, and every touch. In the doggy style position, the person behind has the unique opportunity to guide and respond through voice. A simple whisper, soft, close to the ear, can completely shift the energy. It can make the person in front feel claimed, adored, wanted. Words like "you feel so good" or "just like that" can reassure and arouse at the same time. These aren't commands, they're affirmations. They remind the other person that their body is being cherished, that their pleasure is being felt just as deeply. The right words, spoken with confidence and care, make the experience feel not just hot, but intimate. For the person receiving, the voice becomes a tool of surrender and empowerment. Moans, gasps, and sighs are all part of the dialogue. They're cues, real-time feedback that lets their partner know what's working, what's hitting just right, what's taking them deeper into sensation. When those vocal expressions are paired with actual words like "more," "don't stop," or "right there," it gives the other person a map. It says, without apology, "This is what I like, this is how you take me there." That kind of clarity isn't cold, it's electric. It heightens the shared rhythm, and it creates a sense of mutual responsibility for each other's pleasure. The voice can also be a form of emotional safety. Asking, "Are you okay?" or "Do you like that?" isn't a break in the mood, it's a doorway into something deeper. It shows awareness, it shows presence, and when the answer is a whispered yes or a deep, breathy moan, the connection grows even stronger. In those moments, communication is care, and care is incredibly sexy. It builds trust, and trust allows more freedom, more intensity, more surrender. Communication doesn't have to be constant. Sometimes it's about a few well-placed words, a name spoken softly, a gentle command. A compliment gasped between breaths. What matters is that the voice isn't afraid to be part of the moment. Silence has its place, of course, but silence without intention can create distance. Voice bridges that gap. It lets both partners feel seen, even when their eyes don't meet. It creates a soundscape for the sex, one filled with authenticity, reaction, and presence. When partners feel safe to use their voices, to say what they want or need, the entire experience becomes more fluid and responsive. There's no guessing, no assumptions, just a shared rhythm of giving and receiving. That permission to speak freely can be liberating. It allows both people to bring more of themselves into the experience, to move past performance and into real pleasure. It encourages experimentation because with open communication, there's less fear of getting it wrong. Adjustments can be made mid-movement. Desires can be expressed in real time, and feedback becomes part of the dance. There's also something deeply erotic about hearing your partner lose control. A gasp that turns into a cry, a quiet "oh my God," or a sudden plea for more. Those sounds don't just inform, they ignite. They create a loop of arousal where both people feed off each other's energy. The person behind hears it and responds with more intensity. The person receiving feels that response and surrenders more deeply. It becomes a cycle that builds towards something unforgettable. Sometimes voice means being quiet enough to let your partner's sounds rise. Sometimes it means being bold enough to say what you're thinking without filtering it. "You're mine, you feel incredible. I love the way you move." Simple words, when spoken with real desire, carry immense weight. They become anchors in the experience, reminders that this moment isn't just physical, it's shared, intentional, alive. Even breath itself is a kind of communication. Heavy breathing, staggered exhales, trembling inhales, these are all part of the voice of the body. And in a position like doggy style, where so much is felt through motion and sound, tuning into that breath, matching it, reacting to it, becomes a powerful way to connect without words. But when words do enter, when voice becomes part of the rhythm, everything deepens. Everything sharpens, everything awakens. Touch in doggy style is often underestimated, reduced to just grip and thrust, but when done intentionally, it becomes an entire dimension of pleasure on its own. It has the power to create comfort, ignite desire, and establish deep emotional connection, even in a position that's often labeled as more animalistic or distant. But distance doesn't have to mean disconnection. With the right kind of touch, doggy style becomes full body worship, a sensual conversation between skin, nerves, and emotion. In this position, the hands are free to explore in a way that's often not possible in more face-to-face arrangements. The person behind has access to the full expanse of their partner's back, shoulders, arms, thighs, neck, and hips. That kind of access isn't just anatomical, it's intimate. A slow hand gliding up the spine can say more than words ever could. A firm grip on the hips can anchor the moment, create safety, and set a rhythm. A gentle caress across the ribs or a trailing touch down the side of the torso adds contrast to the deeper motions, offering a balance of power and tenderness. It's not just about where you touch, but how. The variation between soft and firm, stillness and movement, pressure and release. These contrasts bring the body to life. If feather, light touch on the lower back can send a shiver through the whole body, especially when juxtaposed with the strength of a thrust. Gripping the thighs just to feel the muscles tense, running fingers over the curve of the ass. placing a warm palm flat in the small of the back. These are all gestures that say, "I'm here with you. I feel everything." The receiving partner also has a powerful relationship with touch. Reaching back to hold a hand, pressing their palm into the bed for support, guiding the rhythm with their body. All of this creates an active, participatory energy. When they press into the hand that's gripping them, when they move back with intention, they're not just being touched. They're responding, inviting more. This feedback loop of touch and reaction becomes a living rhythm, something that exists beyond just movement. It becomes chemistry, fueled by physical connection. Touch is also a language of reassurance. In moments where things become intense, grounding touch can keep both partners connected. A squeeze of the hip, a kiss on the back of the neck, a soft stroke of the hair. These are small gestures, but they say everything. They remind the other person that they're not alone, that they're being felt emotionally as well as physically. In a position where the face isn't always visible, where eyes can't lock, touch becomes the primary translator of feeling. It holds the moment together. There's also erotic power in using every part of the body, not just the hands. The chest pressing against the back, the thighs brushing together, the stomach grazing the curve of the spine. These kinds of touches add layers to the experience. They amplify presence, letting each partner feel enveloped, surrounded, fully immersed. When the partner behind leans forward and their body molds to the back of the one in front, their breath close, their hands cradling, their lips brushing the skin, it turns the position into something deeply sensual. Even in motion, there is stillness, warmth, containment. Different textures of touch awaken different kinds of arousal. Fingernails dragging slowly, palms gliding with intention, knuckles brushing. Even a slight slap, when done consensually and with awareness, can add contrast and excitement. Each type of touch sends a different message, evokes a different sensation, invites a different part of the body into the experience. The goal is not to overwhelm, but to expand the range of feeling, to turn the whole body into a landscape of exploration. In doggy style, the hands are free to roam, to guide, to worship. And worship is what touch becomes when it's done with care, when it's not about performance but about presence. The hands are not there only to control. They are there to honor, to trace the lines of desire, to hold space for pleasure, to ground the experience in something real, something felt through more than just thrusts. Even in the most intense moments, when bodies are moving hard and fast, touch can be the thing that keeps it all together. It's the constant in the chaos, the reminder of intimacy in a wild act. A hand that stays on the hip, a thumb that strokes the skin gently, a forehead resting on a shoulder for a moment between thrusts. These things turn motion into meaning. They let both people know that they are not just participating in sex, they are being felt, remembered, adored. Aftercare is the quiet, powerful intimacy that lingers once the physical climax has passed. In a position like doggy style, where intensity can reach emotional peaks, aftercare becomes even more vital. It's not just a matter of cuddling or soft words. It's the way two people come down from the high together, how they tend to each other's bodies, how they hold the space they just created. It's what turns sex into connection, what builds the bridge between lust and love, desire and devotion. During doggy style, emotions often swell without warning. The position can be raw, exposing, deeply physical in a way that brings up unexpected vulnerability. One partner has just given their back, their trust, their openness. The other has moved with presence, pressure, power. There's motion, breath, sound, all of it intense, all of it heightened. And when the movement stops, when body's still and breathing slows, the quiet that follows is where the real intimacy begins. Aftercare honors what just happened. It says, "I saw you." It says, "You were safe with me." Whether the sex was rough, slow, passionate, wild, or soft, the body and heart need time to recalibrate. That recalibration happens through small acts, a hand resting on the back, lips brushing the shoulder, fingers intertwined without speaking. It can be the partner behind pulling the other into their chest, wrapping arms around them like a shield. Or it can be lying side by side, letting the sweat cool and the heartbeat settle with shared silence. Touch plays a big role in this space. Gentle strokes down the spine, lazy circles on the hips, soft kisses on the nape of the neck. These gestures aren't about reigniting arousal, they're about grounding. They say, "I'm still here." When a partner takes the time to wipe sweat away, or softly fix a strand of hair, or place a blanket over the other's legs, it becomes a wordless poem of care. These moments may seem simple, but they carry weight. They remind both people that what just happened was shared, sacred, and worthy of being held. Aftercare is also where verbal connection thrives. The same voice that moaned and growled can now murmur quiet affection, saying, "You were amazing," or "I love how you let go," or even a simple "Are you okay?" can be deeply soothing. These words don't need to be grand, they just need to be real. Checking in without pressure, asking what felt good, hearing your partner's response without judgment. That's how emotional intimacy builds. It's not about critique or evaluation, it's about presence. About saying, "I care about how you feel, not just during, but after." Some partners like to stay close physically, entwined, breath sinking, warmth shared. Others might need a few moments of space, and honoring that space can also be part of aftercare. It's not always about being close, but about being available. A partner who says, "I'll get you some water," or "Take your time," is showing attentiveness. Those gestures say, "I know your body just went through something powerful, and I respect that." Aftercare is about listening, not just with ears, but with intuition, with energy, with softness. In doggy style, the lack of face-to-face contact during the act makes aftercare even more important. This is the time to look into each other's eyes, to reconnect in a way that says, "We're not just bodies. We're people who just shared something intimate." Eye contact here becomes healing. It replaces what wasn't present during the act and completes the emotional circuit. It creates closure in the best possible way, one that feels open, nurturing, and secure. There's also something sensual in how slow everything becomes during aftercare. The urgency is gone, replaced by something warmer, thicker, quieter. Breaths are drawn deeper, voices soften, the room feels fuller, even though nothing is moving. This slowness isn't dull, it's rich. It allows emotions to surface that were held back during the heat. It invites the kind of honesty that can only happen when hearts are wide open and no one is trying to impress. Even shared laughter has a place in aftercare. A smile, a whispered tease, a soft laugh about a messy moment or unexpected noise. It lightens the space, dissolves tension, and reminds both partners that intimacy isn't just about sex. It's about knowing each other beyond the body, connecting through vulnerability, and allowing the truth of who you are to be held without fear. The beauty of aftercare lies in its simplicity. It doesn't need to be orchestrated or scripted. It just needs to be present. When two people stay, even after the climax fades, they're saying, "You're more than the act, you're the experience." That's where the connection lingers, in the way fingers tangle afterward, in the breath that still aligns, in the silence that doesn't need to be filled.